And now joining us, as we've been talking about security, and we've been talking about, sadly, the beatdown that happened to those two New York City police officers, a lieutenant and a cop, by illegal migrants in Times Square, and also just how tough it is to be a cop right now. Joining us is the head of the Police Benevolent Association of the City of New York, Pat Hendry. Pat, really great to have you here back on Katz and Cosby.
Thank you so much for having me on. This was a vicious attack against two New York City police officers, and every single individual who participated in attacking and viciously assaulting our New York City police officers need to be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. Attacks on police officers across this city has become an epidemic. We had over 5,000 police officers assaulted last year, and only half of those cases were prosecuted, and less than that saw any consequences. Our criminal justice system is breaking down at every single step. The system needs to change. It's designed to fail, and everyone in the system is passing the buck. They're pointing the fingers at others. Everyone needs to be held accountable, and they need to do their job.
And we are talking to the head of the Police Benevolent Association. I 1,000% agree. We have with us in here the great lawman for many, many decades, of course, George Venizelos, the former head of FBI in New York. George, you have a question?
Yeah, Pat, I can't agree with you more. You know, it's sickening. What makes me even more sick, you know, having grown up in this area my whole life, maybe I'm too old school saying this, where was the people to help? I mean, if I was there, I would have jumped in to help these cops. Why are people watching this stuff happen? New York is going to stand up. You know, we got to fight for the safety too, and we got to help these police officers. We got to help them.
New Yorkers need to stand with police officers more than ever. We need their help. We need them to send a message to everyone involved in the criminal justice system that we're not going to watch this. We're not going to watch our police officers be attacked and assaulted on a daily basis. Because if police officers are being attacked and assaulted, they're going to attack anyone on the streets for anything that happens. So if police officers aren't safe, how are we going to protect the people in the communities?
You're 100% right, and we got to get our city back. Right now, these people coming over and they're taking over our city. And we got to help our police officers. They put their lives on the line every day to keep us safe. We got to help too. So people who were there, who watched it, shame on you for not helping.
Bravo for you for saying that, because you're right. Where were the good people? How could you? I'm telling you, as a citizen, George, and Pat, and everybody listening, watching that video, I wept. I mean, it is heartbreaking to see these cops. They're getting kicked in the head and they're getting punched. And you're right. Where was there's nobody around trying to break it up, and these poor cops are ganged up on. Pat, I mean, how do they keep the morale up?
Police officers are at their breaking point. From every step, we're getting beaten up by the environment right now. Morale is at an all-time low. It's in the toilet. And we need the support of all New Yorkers. We need New Yorkers to step up and say, we're with you. We got your back. And, once and for all, make those phone calls to the DA's office. Make those phone calls to everyone across this city to say, enough's enough. We're going to support our police officers, and we want these individuals in jail where they belong.
Yeah, the fact that they're out, and that's one thing we've been talking about too, Pat, and Judge Richard Weinberg's here with us in the studio too. There were 8 of them that were kicking these 2 cops mercilessly, and then they were able to capture, they got 4 of them, and they're out. And one of them already has their open priors for assault. I mean, you can't make it up. Judge Weinberg, what is happening with our judicial system?
It's not the judicial system, it's the state legislature that passed this ridiculous so-called bail reform law, which limits the powers of the judges to hold them in. And I will tell you, if I was still sitting in Supreme Court, and if this had happened, and
I wish you were,
and if this was before me, I would have held them all in, and I would make the appellate division face the issue and bring it to people's attention. Let the appellate division reverse me. I would have put them in anyway. I would have put them in anyway. Take a stand, send a message to the state legislature and the governor. Do something to protect our police and our citizens.
Yeah, where are the judges with courage? You bring up a great point, because even if it says do X or whatever, Stand up for the good people. That's the bottom line. We got to keep our community safe. You know that better than anybody, George.
Absolutely.
It is shocking. So, Pat, what also, in the height of all this, then we talked about yesterday, City Council passing the bill that says there's going to have to be more paperwork for police. They're going to get bogged down. How much more is that going to complicate the job?
Well, response times and critical response times like shots fired, assaults with weapons are continuing to rise. Last year was up over 2 minutes. We heard today it's up another 40 seconds. And every second counts on those jobs. People rely on that. Their lives rely on it. We know New Yorkers, they don't want police officers' heads buried in their phones doing online paperwork. They want police officers in their communities. They want them on the streets. They want faster response time. This bill does not help police officers do their jobs. But police officers will continue to do the great job that they do every day. If this is what they want, we'll have to do it. But again, the people in the communities need to stand up, and they need to send a message to the city council that this is going to continue. Our response times are going to continue to rise, and we know they want police officers on their street.
Okay, Pat, it's Richard Weimer again. Free legal advice brought to you by my esteemed colleague Jesse Garcia, the vice chair of the state Republican Party. When we're doing our show today, Jesse raised the following. Why is this not a violation of the collective bargaining agreement between the police officers and the city? Why don't you have your lawyers look at that? If they're adding all these new responsibilities, is that a violation? It's worthy of an inquiry.
Absolutely. We're going to explore all our options. But, a lawsuit would take a lot of time. 9/11 response times, as I said before, continue to rise. We need New Yorkers to speak up and call their city council members.
Yeah, call them, and I bet you there's some lawyers who would say, I'll take that case, because they'll fight the good fight for you guys, believe me. Great advice, great legal advice. Now we know where to get good legal advice.
Get it from Chairman Jesse Garcia.
Yeah. Thank you very much. We love you and appreciate you so much, Pat Hendry, with the Police Benevolent Association. You guys are welcome anytime, and we love our men and women in blue. Thank you.
Thank you so much.